What's happening, everybody? Max Gretzola here from the Philly Experience podcast, and today I'm bringing you 3 reasons why you have to buy stock in this Sixers team right now while you can. Before I get into it, though, follow us at the Philly EXP1 on Twitter and, of course, on Instagram at the Philly Experience podcast. Now, guys, I want to start off here with the number one reason why you should buy stock in this Sixers team this year, and it's simply Doc Rivers. The change of coaching in the offseason, bringing in Doc Rivers, a guy with proven winning experience and a championship as well in Boston in 2008, and removing Brett Brown out of this system and bringing in his own philosophy has simply made this team better in all phases. You start out with his coaching decisions, who to put the balls in the hands of in crunch time, and you look at that game against the Lakers the other night. Simply put, Joel Embiid was getting doubled, even triple teamed sometimes in the post. Doc Rivers noticed that. He gives the ball to Tobias Harris at the top of the key, recognizes Alex Caruso is a much weaker and smaller defender against Tobias Harris, and Toby just takes him one-on-one, gets to his spot on the court in his sweet spot, that left elbow, and knocks down the game-winning shot. So you want to talk about Joel Embiid playing more minutes straight through in the first quarter. He gets down to about the 3-minute mark instead of getting taken out around the 7-minute mark, 6-minute mark, like Brett Brown used to do with him. You look at Joel Embiid now and Ben Simmons now, they're playing almost the entire first quarter. Same thing with Tobias Harris, usually playing all 12 minutes sometimes of the first quarter. So you want your stars on the floor as much as possible, and Doc Rivers has been able to do that so far. So everybody's playing to their strengths as well. You look at Danny Green and Seth Curry, that's a credit to Daryl Morey bringing those guys in the offseason, be able to knock down open shots. So we don't have to rely on Ben Simmons to shoot that three-pointer. I know everybody's pounding the table for Ben Simmons to shoot the three, even the mid-range too. But when you got guys like Danny Green and Seth Curry, proven veterans, proven three-point shooters, it makes your life a whole lot easier. And lastly, he's lighting a fire under these guys. I feel like everybody's picking up their aggressiveness and their aggressive pace. He got on Ben Simmons the other night multiple times. You know, we heard it on national television. He yelled 7 straight possessions that's come up empty and turning the ball over too many times. I mean, just on these road trips as well, those personal relationships with these players and being able to, get under their skin and really, push them to be great has really gotten this team into the position they're in now, which is first place in the Eastern Conference. Number 2, you look at Joel Embiid and the season that he's having as a possible MVP candidate. In my opinion, he is the MVP right now. If the season ended today, this guy's taking over games. He's playing to his strengths, and not only is he dominating both in the paint and beyond the arc this year, career highs in points, career highs in three-point shooting percentage, career highs in field goal percentage, he is simply recognizing the double teams when they come, kicking it out to the open player whenever he gets, closed in on, whether it be 2 defenders, whether it be 3 defenders. He knows where to go with the basketball. He's not turning it over as much. And now the fact that we have shooters on the outside like Danny Green, Seth Curry, like I mentioned, it makes this team more dangerous because they have capable knockdown 3-point shooters as these playoffs, come up upon us very shortly. You also touched on lead by example. Joel Embiid's not a guy that you see screaming in a locker room and any videos coming out. He likes to have fun out there and let his play speak for himself. He's done that all season long, specifically recently in these recent games against, top-notch talent. A lot of people have said we haven't played great teams so far this year, and you can make that argument. I know we've only played 2 teams with a winning record, and that's Boston and now LA, but you got to trust your teammates, and that goes back to him kicking the ball out to those 3-point shooters and just dominating all around at an MVP level. He's also playing the second night of back-to-backs, which is probably the most important thing here. You saw that in recent years where he would not play second night of back-to-backs. He'd get rest. They wouldn't, push him as much in these games if he were to play second nights of back-to-back, and he didn't do that last year. This year, we've seen it multiple times where he's gone out there and played back-to-back nights. He's averaging around 30 minutes per night as well, so he's not averaging up around 35, which is key to keeping him healthy the whole season long. As long as he continues to dominate, you can look at this team going to the Eastern Conference Finals. And lastly, you look at the role players and specifically Tobias Harris being able to take over games late. Recency bias is in play here, and that's why you look at Tobias Harris to be able to knock down that shot. People have pointed fingers at him. He's not playing as well and up to his capabilities because of the fact that we paid him $180 million over 5 years. He's not lived up to it so far, but he's starting to come into his own, and credit Doc Rivers for that. He had his best season of his career under Doc Rivers in Los Angeles as a Clipper back in the 2018-19 season. And this year, he's got a career high in basically every category: 3-point percentage, field goal percentage, points per game. He's up over the 20-point per game mark, which is what you love to see out of one of your star players. And as long as he continues to do that, we got a great shot at making a run here in the postseason. And lastly, touch on here Shake Milton. six man of the year candidate. It seems like Doc Rivers every year produces a six man of the year candidate. Shake Milton, crushing his career high in points this year at 14.4 points per game compared to last season around 9 points per game. So he's just taken a step forward, a leap, if you will, and being able to come off of this bench as a six man and lead that second unit along with Tyrese Maxey. And guys are developing under Doc Rivers. And we all know Tyrese Maxey, the first round pick of the Sixers this past offseason, got an opportunity to play during the Seth Curry COVID scare early on in the season. He really showed out and showed his capabilities just to have another guard that can handle the ball off the bench and be able to knock down the three-point shot as well as that killer floater that he has when he drives through the lane. So overall, very consistent play so far this season. And also I have to mention Dwight Howard, even though he feels like he fouls everybody. You got to love the fact that he's able to get in there, scrap, get offensive rebounds, create second chance opportunities for this team, because the more possessions that we get, the higher the chances of be winning. And that's just basic facts and that's basic math. And Dwight Howard's simply able to do that, even though he hasn't played up to, his potential as far as recently compared to early on in the season. He's definitely still a guy you rely on as a backup center to Joel Embiid to give you around 12 to 15 minutes per night. So guys, those are the three reasons, in my opinion, that I think you have to buy stock in the Sixers team right now. And I sure definitely think we have an opportunity to face the Brooklyn Nets in the Eastern Conference Finals if we can get that far. And if the Brooklyn Nets can get that far too, they're still building chemistry there with their big three and James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving. So it remains to be seen. But guys, if you like this video today, make sure you follow us at The Philly Experience on Instagram and at The Philly EXP1 on Twitter.